a decade-long nightmare. I survived this imprisonment and Kiir's later attempt to either kill or abduct me from Kenya because of the support of many human rights defenders, including several members of this committee. I'm grateful to you all and the US government for saving my life and that of my family. When South Sudan gained independence in 2011, Kiir was appointed, not elected, appointed president and charged with building institutions to allow for elections in 2015. But in 2013, he and former Vice President Riek Machar plunged our new nation into a civil war. Kiir used the conflict to defer elections from 2015 to 2018 and again to 2021. Although the current peace agreement requires election be held by March 2022, is already proposing 2023 and beyond. Meanwhile, he has built a repressive security state in the form of the National Security Service run by General Akolkur Kuch, who personally oversees the planning and the commission of gross human rights violations through his special forces in his office. A 4-person task force in Kuch's office identifies targets for extrajudicial killing, enforced disappearance, and arbitrary arrests. Kuch also manages numerous corrupt schemes, illegally extracting millions of dollars through public sector corruption. Kiir's failed leadership has been devastating. Poverty rate, which stood at 50% at independence, is now at 82%. We ranked dead last in the 2020 Social Progress Index, tied for the last place with Somalia in the 2020 Corruption Perception Index, and scored only 2 out of 100 in the 2021 Freedom House Global Freedom Score. Our people are living in unrelenting horror. The United States needs to send a clear message to Kiir that his repression of our people will no longer be tolerated, nor any further delay of elections. They should sanction perpetrators of gross human rights violations like Kuch, while urging the African Union to urgently set up the hybrid court on South Sudan to end impunity. If Kiir doesn't hold election on time, his already illegitimate regime will have expired. Since he was never elected by our people, this will necessitate a new political paradigm to ensure a successful transition to democracy. Despite severe repression, our people made it clear in the recently concluded national dialogue that Kiir and Machar must exit the political scene. I hope the United States, this committee, will stand with our people. South Sudan case highlight 5 challenges to democracy, not only in Horn of Africa, but on the entire continent and globally. 1, restriction of press freedom by dictators who know that information is power and who fear informed citizenry, and act to keep our people ignorant of their misery. 2, severe repression of political opposition and activists by tyrants who fear losing power, lacking the ability to compete in free exchange of ideas. They resort to violence, intimidation, and harassment. Through Department of State, the U.S. should publicly identify and monitor the cases of bellwether activists and act swiftly and decisively when they face repression. If we are killed or detained with impunity, then who will fight for freedom in our countries? 3, entrenched leaders who abuse term limits, and whom the U.S. must confront to reverse course. 4, Chinese promotion of authoritarianism through anti-democratic tactics, financial coercion, and physical intimidation. The U.S. need to counter China by supporting exchange programs and expanding access to U.S. institutions of knowledge. The U.S. also needs to encourage its private sector to expand investment in Africa, where Chinese capital is not only entrenching authoritarianism, but weakening instruments of accountability. Finally, sham elections that dampen faith in democracy, making mockery of the sacred instruments through which the sovereign will of the people is expressed. In closing, Mr. Chairman, Ranking Member, the human desire for freedom and opportunity gives me hope that with right policies and resolve, not only will dictatorship fail, but freedom will thrive. Thank you very much for the invitation.
Thank you very much, Dr. Aja.
For your courage.